Okay, I was not planning to do an extra recording today, but I discovered there's a mistake. Seems I accidentally recorded over, saved over one of my blueprints that's on the workshop. One of the ones I intended to use, bring into my survival game on my dedicated server. So I'm actually in Creative right now to try to fix that problem. I should have a copy of the capital vessel in question. Let's see, it is that. We're going to go ahead and edit that so it shows the waypoint. Okay, I'm calling it Perch Glitched. If it wasn't interesting what happened, I probably wouldn't have bothered to record that I'm going on finding this base again. But that's where my capital vessels are, the one I need to go get a copy of. So it's interesting what happened, and I think it's something that kind of has to be seen to see how it turned out. The base, as I said, it looks like there was some sort of glitch. It is actually below ground level where it is. Well, it might be, well, now that I'm getting a little more familiar with some of the controls here, it might be interesting to see where that actually compares to ground level. But compared to the hills and mountains and that stuff, it made for a very interesting placement of the base. When I placed the base, it was not there. I don't know what happened. If for some reason the base, something glitched and it moved the location of the base slightly, or if the mountains got redrawn or something or what. But that is the Frontier Perch base. Is down here. The fun part is, and this is why the capital vessel is down here, for the fun part, I actually tested that I could actually get a capital vessel onto the base despite it being down here. So despite it being down here, Cultivate capital vessel is, there's two copies of it here parked. So I am going to park the SV on top of one of them. We're in Creative, so, and so take a look at this one. They should be tier 1. The question is, are they both fully updated? Of course, there's no detector on them, but I'm not sure they really need a detector. They are supposed to be base modules, either parked in a base like this or used separately, almost like their base building, just no solar. And with the ability to, with thrusters and that stuff, to actually move. Okay, so signal logic. There's no special circuits over here. And looks like signal logic is in place for those. Okay, let's look over here. Looks like the signal logic looks like it's in place. Okay, it's tier 1. Oh, I forgot to look at the other one if it's tier 1. With plenty of margin, but since these are built as farms and the stuff, they only need enough thrust to lift themselves. Very limited storage. I wanted them to be the farms that I intended them to be. Okay. So, yes, this is. I had put it in the factory, spawned in the capital vessel. I was like, this is not what I was expecting. This is what I expected. I expected something like this one. Why don't I go grab the one with the lights turned off? That way when someone spawns it in, if I understand it correctly, it should still be in that same signal state. Okay, so let's see how the fuel's good on this one. Oh, I turned it off. Oops, wasn't what I was intending. Okay, what I want is to turn on maneuver. Okay. And we are lifting off from the base. Up we go. Here we are. Achieved orbit. Oh. And when I cycled the power, I must have cycled that. And we'll cycle it to be closed. Okay. Okay. And this is probably why I didn't catch it initially, that stuff, because the screenshot captured this was with the I expected the lights to be turned off, and so when I was looking at the capital vessel in there, it happened to be one of the base modules that I had been working on. And so as you can see, since the lights aren't on, and I didn't quite catch that it must have been when I was working on the other base module in progress. I didn't think about it. If I'd thought about it, I would have realized, wait, that's not right. The cultivate was a completed one, and so it should have been something like this one without the green line barrier through it for the what do they call that? The symmetry plane. So yeah, there we go. And then I'll go ahead and update that on the workshop. So it is back to the proper cultivate capital vessel. My mistakes on that. My apologies for that mistake. As you can see, I actually the wording that there is from my first use of an LCD projector, labeling those switches, what they control, stuff. And there on the back, I have similar stuff. And it was interesting. It was fun. Stuff. A lot of my vessels and bases, I don't necessarily throw it on a physical switch for everything. But in this case, it made sense to me with this farm that I was going to either clutter the control panel or simply just make some nice switches, label them here what they were, and that's stuff. Although I suspect, if I remember correctly, those LCD projectors, if we go to, I want to say that I have for the interior lights, I have a motion sensor here, and that's for the lower. For the upper, I have this, you notice here in the same group, in my device grouping, I've put the LCD projectors because they are also on the same signal. So in other words, they are actually turned off when you are not traveling through this upper section here. So, which for the most part, I'm probably not going to see it because I'll be somewhere else. Maybe if I was looking through one of the windows close enough, I could see that they turn off and turn on with the so. Now this here, that's actually on a signal just so it doesn't, because those shutter doors normally open automatically when you walk up near to them, and so I didn't want the normal behavior, so I put them on a signal so they take the signal instead, and that determines them turning on and off. Okay, this is going to be now my experience is, oops, that when you go up into orbit and come back down, you are not necessarily lined up exactly where you left. Although I should, well, I may have drifted some depending on the movement of the planet and that sort of stuff. Perch not buried, and perch glitched. Apparently I have moved 2.2 kilometers. And oh, I've seen this before. Usually this, when I have this problem, I have to exit the game, come back, and then my vessels will, because yes, I can move it up, down, left, right, but I right now have no pitch, yaw, or roll. And I am pretty sure that this is not going to be lined up right. I might get lucky. Maybe it is lined up right to get it back in there. Fun part is, even though I don't have those controls, if I start hitting things, it will. Okay, now I do get the O. Okay. And I might be able to use the terrain change my alignment. Okay, so let's go down here further. Okay, and this is over that way. Okay, I'm going to use the O key a bit to bring myself back up. Okay. And I'm going to use the fact that I actually built guides into this base for these capital vessels. Now the guides weren't meant to assist when I lose the yaw, pitch, and roll, but I have found that if I get close enough and use the OK to keep myself upright, there we go. I think I am parked. Let's go here. I'm going to turn off maneuver. Turn my view to first person. Go ahead and close that door. Door is lined up. Pretty good, I think. All in all, I think I did a pretty good job parking that capital vessel. Now it's kind of interesting to see the solar panels phased into the wall like there. You can definitely see the hangar slash garage. That one there is pretty much filled in with very interesting lines going on here. This one is available. This was not meant to be a point of interest. So some of this peculiar behavior going on here, I was like, oh yeah, wow. You really see some peculiar behavior because this is not a point of interest. But yet on the flip side, seeing that peculiar behavior, I'm like, oh, if you could somehow duplicate some of this intentionally, this stuff, it could be a very interesting effect for a decompressing frontier perch. Oxygen will be removed. Oh, because it's out of power. This is creative, and I have a whole bunch of fuel I gave myself to go around and power my things up and just do stuff in creative. So yeah. The Frontier Perch, actually I've already brought it into my survival game on the dedicated server. So who knows, you might, if you see one of those videos, get a little tour of the inside of that. I've already dug it out and that sort of stuff. So it should, it should be interesting, useful base for our purposes in the game, and then it'll be interesting to bring in the capital vessels. I don't know if I'm going to do. I know I wanted to bring in one farm and stuff. As I said, I like the idea of a capital vessel for a farm because I can take it with me. But I am not sure if I'm doing for the other one, if I'm just doing one of my storage variety, or if I'm doing, oh that's right, the SV is actually on top here for this one. Okay, and we're 148 meters below ground. Well, that answers my question on the glitch. Like, oh my gosh, what an interesting effect going on with that base. Not, as I said, something somehow got transposed to that location. Things very interesting, and that's actually why you have the perch not buried over there. The stuff which is the frontier perch is because when I discovered that one was buried, and I had some things I wanted to fix on the base. I had discovered I was missing some stuff, or I can't remember what it was exactly, stuff. But there's something I wanted to fix with the base, some issue I found with it, and so when I retook fix that issue, and then it's like, well, when I'm snapping my picture of it, the one picture for it in the workshop stuff, I didn't want the glitched base to be the picture, because that just, it looks cool to me, but it just really wouldn't show the base very well. So this base set up here, that is the picture in the workshop. Even though, as I said, that's actually 2 capital vessels parked there. The Fabricate and the DCEs. The Fabricate is designed to be a storage. Where did I pull this out from? Oh yeah, I think it was in the Nightjar. Oops. And I meant in the Nightjar, not parked on it. What? Oh, I'm bouncing off who knows what. Where? Confusing myself. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, wait. Those 2 capital vessels are not going to give me, I'd have to upgrade them to tier 2 and then compare to really get, because I think here at tier 1 you're really going to see more of the tier 1 limits on these 2 capital vessels. So I think the one's going to end up with more storage by default, just simply because it is a storage capital vessel. So containers are 112,000 each. They are designed to be expanded a little bit here, removing some truss blocks, do some upgrades. I want to say that in the process there's also some spots here where you would replace that, and on the other side the same thing, with a additional thruster to increase your lift at tier 2, so that it would, because this capital vessel is intended to function in 2.0 gravity, again with my standard of 20 kilograms per SU. I may want to recheck my math on this capital vessel, because I think I found some problems with my how I'd entered my entries previously, my formulas, into the spreadsheet. But that capital vessel is designed for that. Although I want to say this one might actually, among my base modules, this might be, I think this is the only one that's actually designed for a shield. So like you can actually put a shield on the one that's is the cargo container. You know, protecting your cargo. No guns on it because it's not, you know, it's supposed to be a base module docked on and stuff, and it, because of my constraints on what it's supposed to be fit in, and the possibility that I'm going to be putting it on a base where it actually would be totally enclosed, pretty much in the base. You know, for the space base as opposed to one of these ground bases, that it would, you know, in that environment the shield just would not go well. In contrast, this one is supposed to be my factory and stuff, so it starts with less storage, 2 containers, but they are designed to be expanded. I want to say this one might actually get up to almost the same storage as the other one by the time you upgrade it to tier 2. You know, especially since we're not doing the shield, we have spots we can take out, put in more thrusters. I really want to say that this could have potentially this. I want to say this thing actually is designed to go up to the same storage capacity. I think that the biggest difference between the two is the, you know, this The other one is designed to take a shield. And stuff. I really want to say that's one of the main. Well, and this one actually has the constructors. This one's actually designed for my pattern of 4 constructors, but at tier 1 to put in the storage and stuff, I want to say that this one's actually pushing pretty close to that limit of tier 1. There might be a little margin on there, but part of my issue I ran into is if I put more storage on it, I was having issues with my calculations about 2.0 gravity, and the way I was running the calculations. So I basically ended up choosing that it would have 2 constructors, half the constructors I like to have, this amount of storage, that stuff. So I didn't, it'd still meet my performance standards here, but I've marked where the other 2 constructors are supposed to go with these deco blocks stuff. So you can upgrade it to 4 constructors, upgrade the storage. I want to say that it upgrades to 2 containers of 200,000 each. So it'd be the same as the cargo vessel is supposed to be upgraded to this stuff. But again, part of it, among other things, it's the since I send it to the standard of the 2.0 gravity, and in this case, I had a little fun with the deco elements stuff. Yeah, I probably could have done something that would be a little more efficient. Really focus on getting as much thrust and cargo and pack things in tight down there. But here I end up leaving myself engineering space that I can get around, access things. I loved how this walkway turned out here and stuff. So I got to. But the question is, which one do I choose? My temptation would be in part to choose this one. If I go with this one, I'm still not 100% certain which way I'm going on it. But I do know if I'm going with this one, it's just because using the dedicated server with myself, my son, possibly daughter, and now nephew has actually successfully joined me a little bit on that server, that I might want something that's would allow us to divide up the construction tasks so that we're not fighting over the building of the materials, as we build stuff. Okay. So. Okay. Well, I did update that on the workshop. I want to say, let me before I exit here and call it a night, going to bed. I'm going to go check my workshop here. Workshop items. Let's go see. There's the fabricate. There is the cultivate. That looks like the picture I just took of the cultivate. All dark and other stuff, but yeah, the asteroid belt, the planet below. Composition looks like the picture I just snapped here, so it matches this picture. So yeah, I've updated the workshop. Okay, so wish you a good night, and I might wonder what you thought of the glitch of the frontier perch that ended up below ground. And the noise we keep hearing as we walk past this SV, the loud noise, that is part of the design intentionally of this small vessel. When I was initially built that front end, it's actually the same front end as the Swallow SV. I just the significant differences on those on the original builds. They're now a little bit different. With one being the composite blocks, but if you were to look, there's definitely they are very much the same front end. But it's back here. I changed the module back here. That stuff. Whereas the Swallow SB kind of makes it look like it's got a little bit like it's 4 pods back there. Kind of blending together, just because it's all packed into that small space. But it's so. And this was always intended to be the superior craft between the two, between the Swallow and the Sparrow. This one, but they both share this design. And this right now, where it is right now, I can get to the cockpit easy. But some of the spots, if I were landing on a hill, maybe it was down the hill a little bit, or depending on how I was parked, the idea being here is with these on a motion sensors logic that if I found myself having trouble reaching the cockpit from the sides, or using my jet packs to get up on top of the SB to try to get into the cockpit, that all I had to do is approach the front of the capital, or approach the front of the small vessel, and the motion sensors, they actually go a bit down below the vessel. The intention being that as I would approach the front end of the vessel, this would open up, giving me a access to the click on the cockpit from another angle that might accommodate if I was down below the vessel slightly. It would bring it to open up and something that would be a little closer. So constantly making all that noise when I walk too close to the motion sensors, and it opens up and closes the cockpit access. Okay. Well, again, have a good night and enjoy.